What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Florida Man TV. I'm Steve, your Florida Man host, and today we're going to be doing some Florida Man stuff. I have come to the realization that I cannot find bass fish in our small local lakes that is just all grass bottom. And so I have purchased something to help me find some fish. And it's a little big for this kayak, but we're going to do it anyway. Let's go.
You're watching Florida Man TV. Let's do this.
Okay, so for those that are not familiar with my kayak, I have a Hobie Adventure Island. Now, as far as kayaks go, she's a long girl, but she's very narrow. She's very thin. She doesn't have much space to mount things. If you're following the channel closely, and you should be, subscribe. You dang people like to watch the videos and you don't subscribe. It's free. I just need your ad revenue as a subscriber. Watch the ads, subscribe. Thank you. That's the only plug I'm going to give this video. All right, anyway, if you follow the channel closely, you will know that I had another Garmin unit, and it was a little small handheld guy, and he was going to fit perfect here, and it was GPS only, no fish finder. We have gotten rid of that, and we are going to install this bad boy right here. So this will be the mate for our nice long female kayak here, and this is the Garmin EchoMap 73 SV with a G54, I think it is, transducer. We'll get into this box here in a little bit. Now, for this transducer to work on a kayak, we're not going to be mounting it on the bottom of the hull. It's a kayak, we want it to slide, so we got to get a way to put the transducer in the water to see the fish, to put the fish in the boat. And so thankfully Scotty, the brand Scotty, has come up with a fantastic solution, and that solution is this guy right here. This is a transducer mount. And as you can kind of see by the photo, here's your kayak and little transducer mount. So, you know, flip it up, flip it down. Easy breezy. Now, here it is, kind of pre-assembled for you. And it's going to go something like so, right? But, of course, me being a Florida man, we have an issue. We don't have much space, and this rail is pretty long, and I don't know where I'm going to put it. So we'll get to that in a second. And then, of course, we've got our battery. I went with a small 8 amp hour. This unit at full capacity is supposed to draw 0.8 amps per hour, so this should be an 8-hour battery. We may have to upgrade that later on, but enough jibber jabber. You know what's going on. This big old unit is going to go somewhere on this kayak, and you're going to figure it out with me live. Well, not live, but live to you now on the channel. Let's dig into the box. Okay, Hater Nation, warm up those keyboard warrior fingers and get ready to flame in the comment section below, because here's the size of the unit. Being a 73 SV, this is a 7-inch screen, and it is fairly beefy. For reference, here's the back of my seat, and yeah, well, it's pretty big. And so the plan is to kind of put this thing, like, I don't know, here, I guess, but we're not going to be able to paddle. That's going to be a sacrifice I got to make, I guess. Push-pull time probably instead of a paddle, because I don't think we're going to paddle. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going to put this. I'll figure it out. But in order to get this nice slim unit mounted, we got to mount the cradle. Because our power and all of our transducer connectors and stuff are on the cradle, which is great because I can pop the unit off, put it in my truck, take it with me while I'm camping overnight or whatever, and nobody can steal your unit. But the cradle is much bigger, so imagine a cradle here, like so. Yeah, I don't know. This is ridiculous. What the hell am I doing? I'm gonna make it work because I want this fancy fish finder. By the way, just in case you're interested here, this transducer does down imaging, side imaging, as well as traditional 2D sonar. we'll go through all that in another video. This is the install video. I'm gonna figure out what the heck I'm gonna do. I've got to put the battery somewhere. I've got to mount the wires for the battery somewhere. I've got to get this here transducer arm somewhere, and I need it all accessible from this little seat. So I don't know yet where I'm going to put this thing, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to sit in the kayak, do a dry run, kind of figure some things out, and I'll be back with you when I know what the hell's going on. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to try and use the original ram ball that I mounted in here, right? And the stand from the old unit, which was this guy here. And you can see, oh man, he fit really good right there, you know, little skinny guy compared to this one. But it is out of the way of my legs for, you know, when I'm pedaling here, so that's good. With the ram ball I can adjust this, okay, but it's right in front of me where I can get to it and see the screen really well and all of that. So I like it here, and you know, don't mind that it's wobbling, haters. Everything's very loosely put in with the screws just to make sure that everything's gonna be where I want it. Now keep in mind, being a sailing kayak, I got to access my lines here. So this is my main sheet line here. I've got a rudder line I've got to get to. So I was gonna try and put it up here, but it was a little far away for me to reach, and it was gonna get in the way of this line. When we've got a sail flapping back and forth here, I need to be able to work this line properly. And this line kind of rides right here when you're sailing. So it's gonna be out of the way, which was my original plan for the smaller Garmin. And I can't put the transducer up here because of the lines. Now I have over here an anchor trolley that I have to worry about, but as you see, I've kind of set my transducer up over on this side here. There's a large enough plate that I can mount it, right, and get all the screws in there and get my accessory plate in there, and it's not too hard to drop the transducer. I'm not really going to be pulling it up that much, and it's kind of out of the way. So if I'm pedaling, I'm cool. Now the only thing is if I have to paddle, so pedal and paddle. So I grab this, and it's kind of in the way, but I can kind of short stroke it, if you will. See, I already hit it, so that's going to be an issue. However, being that this is going to be on a ram ball mount, what I can do, and I'll try and do this one-handed without dropping the damn unit, so pray. Okay, sorry, just really didn't want to risk dropping this unit before I even try it one time. All right, so you can see with the ram mount here, I can kind of move this thing around a little bit and adjust its angle. I can even get this screen to fold all the way down if I need to. Then, if I really need to paddle, it gives me a little more clearance here. Boy, the birds are going crazy. Shut up, I'm trying to film a video. All right. I can still got to short stroke it, but I've got a little more clearance to paddle, or I can kind of go up over it like so and try and paddle. I don't hand paddle much. It's just pretty much when I'm either beach launching or docking or undocking or something like that, that I'll use the paddle to kind of get into the dock. So we're gonna have to work around this behemoth of a fish finder, but I think that's gonna work out. Now the only real shitty part to this setup, because it looks great now, but remember, we've got cords that we have to install. I don't have that figured out yet because I want it to be clean as can be. So we may do a temporary install and just kind of see how it works out for a little bit, but I'm gonna play around a little more, and I'll be back with you guys when I have a little more info on what the heck I'm doing. Okay, update. So we got this a little more stable as far as mounting the bottom plate here. We have taped down our track here for our transducer arm, and we've drilled the holes. Now if you notice, I have a rudder up and down. This is actually the rudder up line that goes through here, and I've felt through the hatch here, and it goes pretty much about right here, and it starts to get real close to this molded foot cup here, really close right there. And I'm afraid this screw, when it's through the kayak, might rub on this cord. There's a little protector hose that goes through there, but it's only about up to here, and then it's just hose. Now, I don't think that missing one screw is going to be a problem. It's going to look ugly, and that's going to really irritate me for a long time, but I think I'm going to stay with 7 of the 8 screws. That'll hold this plate down just fine, and will be an extra safety precaution that that threaded screw does not rub on this line right here. So I'm going to put some 5200 on these holes here, and we're going to screw this thing down, mount the transducer arm, put the transducer on there, see where we're going to route the cable, where we're going to put the battery, and I will be back when I have that information for you, because you don't need to watch that boring stuff. I'll be back. Okay, update, getting closer. So we've got our rail mounted here. Again, I skipped this hole so that this line doesn't cut. I did reach my hand under there and check. This screw's pretty close but not in danger. I think this one would be. Anyway, we've got our Scotty I gotta learn to take the voice command off when I'm doing these things. It heard Scotty like transducer, and the GoPro thought I said shut off, so it stopped recording or whatever. Anyway, we have our Scotty transducer arm here, and we got our transducer mounted. Nothing special for you boat guys, you know what's up here. I left a little slack in the cord so that I can adjust this. This is on a track. It'll slide up and down to get whatever depth you need, but I will figure that out when we're on the water. For now, I left enough slack that I can go all the way down, I can go all the way up, and we zip tied it in here, but the zip ties, they are loose. I mean, they're snug, but it allows it to move. Anyway, I was going to, hang on, let me get the part. Garmin gives you one of these, it's a cable through deck fitting, I guess you would say, that allows the cable to go through the deck there. But I decided, because I don't know really how well this is going to work with this setup, what I need to adjust and things like that, I went for a clean temporary install. So let me show you. It's just a zip tie job. If you've done any work on your car when you were in your teens, you have done exactly this with your stereo wires. So don't hate, okay? It's temporary. Anyway, went ahead and ran it up here and just kind of zipped it to the pocket here, down to the handle, zipped it around, zipped it, went where the seat bungee will hold it, kind of over this peg. Boom, on the other side, comes out here, zip tied to this cleat, and then to the handle again, and then to our unit. Now, if I was going to do a permanent, and when I do, I should say, a permanent install, all of this cable slack will be hidden, so it'll be a nice clean install. But for now, what we're going to do is kind of tuck it and zip tie it up inside of this mount, because we've got plenty of holes for more zip ties to kind of secure it up. And I'll show you that in a minute when we get it done. So I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to find out where to put the battery, because this is another cable we got here. And so I've got to figure out where to put the battery, and possibly I'll use that through hull fitting or through deck fitting. I'm going to get that stuff done, and then I'll be back with you guys for kind of a final wrap up. It's not a hard install, guys. It's really just plug and play kind of stuff. But in case you wanted to see it on an adventure island and how I did it, this is part 1 of the temporary install, and we'll get some on the water footage and make sure we want to do a permanent install. I'll be back, guys. Let me finish this up. Son of a bitch. Okay, I decided I'm gonna use this through hull, because there's really just no other way to put a power cord inside the hull of the boat. I'm gonna put my battery inside the center hatch. It's probably the wettest area, which sucks, but it is a 100% sealed marine battery. And so I'm gonna put my little through hull right here. Just keep saying through hull, through deck fitting, or whatever you want to call this thing. So I've marked it. I'm gonna put it right here. I figured I'd let you guys watch the point of no return because we're drilling a big ass hole in this thing. If you don't know how these work, just 2 seconds here. You can see this big inner lip. That's got to fit all the way down, and then you seal or go all the way through the deck. And then this fitting here, you goop up with some marine silicone and stick it on there. So, all right, guys, point of no return on this one, huh? We're gonna go ahead and drill a big ass hole. There it is, one big hole. I hate doing stuff like that, but in the sake of cleanliness, got to be done. All right, guys, I'm pretty much done. I'm ready to turn it on, see if my wiring worked, which should. It's 2 wires. I set this all the way standing up in order to get wire clearance here. I got one more zip tie to put over here, so we're gonna squish this in a little bit, but you see we got our wires routed all nice, about as nice as we can make the back of the unit appear. And that wire comes down here, and I might put a little zip tie right here, but you see at full extension we have enough slack so I can move this thing around as I need. There's our through deck fitting installed. You can see the 5200 that seals it down there, so it should keep us, hopefully keeps us water resistant. I don't know, that was a big hole to drill in your boat. And we've got our battery wired up here. Just note, if you're gonna do this, these 2 are your IMEA wires here. I think that's what they call it, IMEA. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I put a little heat shrink on the end of them just to seal those 2 bare wires up so the unit's not getting confused. And then of course we just did a nice connector with some shrink tubing for the battery. I'm gonna go ahead and drop my battery in here because that's where it's gonna go. And now for the moment of truth. Oh, I gotta lean around this way. Does it fire up? I heard a beep. Look at that. We're in business. Let me go around the other side while this boots up. All right, guys, we've got it installed and working. Now, of course, it's probably freaking out here because, oh, little question mark went away. Never mind. It had a little question mark. I'm assuming it was looking for GPS up here, but it's got GPS. Not reading any depth on the sonar, but that's probably because, you know, we're not in the water, and it's tripping out because it's just right over top of the trailer. So there's probably some interference there. I'm not going to do a whole walkthrough here, but the reason that I got this unit is because it's touchscreen, and I like that. I hate these little scrolly buttons and stuff. I want to be able to go in here just like an iPad or whatever and be able to zoom out and pan around and, you know, find the water and whatever, and zoom in, and it's just so much nicer to have a touch screen, right? So let me see. I am imagining sonar is not going to be working unless you're in the water. Well, it's working, but there's the trailer. So you can see the trailer here is some feedback. We've got to go through all these settings. You can't even see this here. So obviously it's freaking out. You can see right at the top there, those little blips, that's the trailer. But when we get in the water, obviously we'll be able to go through all this stuff for you. So, you know, you got your charts and your sonars, you got your side view, which probably isn't going to show anything either. Yeah, see, there's no water. So side view is starting to scan, but it's not going to scan nothing because there's no water for it to scan through. Anyway, it works, and that's all I need to know, that the sonar is pinging and that the system is live and it's functioning. And aside from my big mess here, it is a decent install, fairly clean. Now what I decided to do is kind of a final thought for you guys. Once I get this all adjusted and I know everything's working properly, I'm going to take another one of these through deck fittings, and I'm gonna put it right over here so that the wire will come down and go in the hole here, go under, pop out over here and up to the unit, and that's going to be nice and clean. We won't have this wire going around the back, but for now I just want that wire around the back so that if I need to make any adjustments or something like that, I can do that and make sure everything's working properly. It's really easy breezy beautiful. There's nothing to do except run some wires and mount some stuff. So we're going to cut this video here because it's probably longer than I even want it to be for this short little install. Next video is going to be this weekend when we get up. Nice diesel. Next video is going to be this weekend. Tomorrow I'm taking this out on the lake and I'm going to try and tune in some settings and stuff, so obviously I'll film that for you. Stay tuned for the next video. It's coming up this weekend, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Alright, after cleaning up the kayak, guys, there's the final view of the installation. I think it looks pretty clean, and I've got an extra accessory spot on this here Scotty, so that's handy too. All right, guys, can't wait to get out tomorrow.